We are glad you're with us back in the news cycle on AFA Today here on AFR Talk. Kevin McCullough, always glad to be with you. It's the middle of the day. We try to take a look at what's going on and then give you something clearly that we can obliterate confusion concerning, amplify some truth, and hopefully pursue some clear-headed thinking on the other side of that. Just like we do every single day. And I've got a special announcement coming up for tomorrow's show. I'll tell you about that. Kevin McCullough is my name, 888-589-8840. My phone number, it's always open to you, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. The continued controversy and concern and, utter incapacity by American officials to do anything about this Nigerian girls' crisis is really, it's disheartening a lot of people. When you listen to a lot of the news talk and the news media that is discussing it, there's a lot of questions going, hey, why can't this be addressed? And I don't know the actual answer to that. The U.S. was already trying to pursue the guy that runs this Boko Haram group before these kidnappings started, and the fact that he's just kind of like thumbing his nose in everybody's face. It's just, to me, it's emblematic of the increasing reality that the world will be as the U.S. stops looking elsewhere. When trials and troubles come. Now, there are some that are talking about this all over the news talk world today that actually believe that's a good thing. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Are you one of them? That it's a fine thing if America doesn't get involved, that actually the worst thing that could happen is for America to get involved in what is now becoming habitual kidnapping of young girls in Nigeria by this Islamic fundamentalist group, Boko Haram. The guy that's running it, Abu Bakr Shekau, I guess is how you say his name, is vowing to sell these young girls into the, quote, marketplace, meaning that he has taken them as slaves. He's going to sell them as slaves. They are very young girls. You can only imagine what's going to happen to them. The president has offered some help, but warns that he's not really going to do anything of substance. So we've already eliminated special forces and military involvement in any way. So I don't know. It's hard to sit back and see something like this take place and simply say, there's nothing that we can do about it. But there are those on the left and the right that are saying today, we shouldn't. This is Nigeria's problem. Nigeria has to wear its big boy pants, and it has to take care of its own problems. 888-589-8840 would like to know what your thought is. This guy, the guy that's in charge of the group now, he was the second in command when we killed Mohammed Youssef in 2009, who was running this group. But this ragtag bunch of guys with the machine guns, they've been doing a lot of this. And it's not just girls. They've stolen young boys and forced them into, basically early military life, training them and teaching them how to shoot and march and attack and fight and all the rest of it. So that's kind of what's on the minds of everyone. And if we didn't know enough about this guy, Abu Bakr Shekau says, "I enjoy killing anyone that God commands me to kill, the way I enjoy killing chickens and rams." He's talking about young girls when he says that. He's talking about the young girls that he has taken, innocent people that he has terrorized. I enjoy killing anyone that God commands me to kill, the way I enjoy killing chickens and rams. We originally thought we'd killed this guy back in 2009, and then he surfaced later on a video claiming leadership of the group. 888-589-8840 if you've got some quick thoughts on that. Then the other thing that I want to get to, I had a story that I blogged about yesterday that I did not discuss on this broadcast, but an Indiana businessman turned down. Well, actually, it didn't turn down. He revoked. He offered a job, and then he took the job away from a young boy on the only basis being that he had been homeschooled. And the interesting thing about this is this kid will probably get a few hundred offers to go many other places now, because when I see a homeschool graduate that does particularly well in his studies and particularly well in college, I'm like, yeah, let's hire them. Let's grab them. We'll teach them to do whatever we need them to do. Because I know they'll learn how to do it. But in light of that story, I've also got this up on my website, thebingethinker.com. There's a 16-year-old that this week has already graduated from Florida Atlantic University with her bachelor's degree in criminal justice. A 16-year-old already graduated from Florida Atlantic University with her bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Later this week, she gets her high school diploma from high school. Pretty cool. Grace Bush is her name, African-American girl from Florida, and I just want to say congratulations. So, interesting stuff. There's this story that I really want to get to today where a New Hampshire dad went into a school meeting and he was arguing with the school board about why he wasn't notified about a book that his daughter was given to read for an in-class assignment. He argued to the degree, and he got arrested for it. And the debate that we can have, or the discussion we can have about this, is how far do you protest, and when have you protested too much? But he was very opposed to the sexual content of this book. This book was distributed to his daughter. The parents were not notified, even though the rules of the school say that they should be. And so he was told to basically sit down and be quiet. And he said, no, I'm going to continue to tell you what I think. And eventually they dragged him out. They didn't drag him. They escorted him out. They came and got him. He walked down the aisle of his own power. But when they got him outside the building, they cuffed him up, took him down to threw him in the paddy wagon, took him down to the station house, and booked him on disorderly conduct. Lots of questions I have about that, but we'll get to that in a second. Some of you want to weigh in on Nigeria first, and I want to take those calls. Let's go to Philip in Arkansas. Hi, Philip. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for what you do. God bless. Actually, I don't have a thought on what's going on in Nigeria, but although I think we need to do something, and it doesn't surprise me that our president would not want to involve military against Muslims, seeing as how he is one. Besides that, actually what I want to talk about is religious freedom. A couple weeks back, we saw CEO of Mozilla get fired because he gave money to support traditional marriage some time back.
Right, we covered that extensively. What's your thought on it?
Well, actually, I want to tie it together with something else, and that has to do with the owner of the LA Clippers making his comments that he made that are deemed racist and all of those things. Here's religious freedom. Here's the deal. As an American citizen, first and foremost, just being a person, I have rights given to me by God. You agree? I'm sure. We have those rights.
Philip, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time keeping up with where you're going with all this, and I really did want to talk about the topics that I prepared for today. So I appreciate the call. If we go back to those things, feel free to call back. But we're already way, way, way in the weeds, and I'm trying to keep people's attention on what we're discussing on today's show. I appreciate your call, though. Let's go to Charles in Virginia. Hi, Charles. Welcome.
Hello. I hope you're having a good day already.
I am.
This thing in Nigeria, it's a terrible, terrible tragedy what is taking place. But I don't feel that it's the responsibility of the United States government to police the world. If the president of Nigeria called and said, Mr. Obama, we need some help hunting this down, then the president should say, okay, we'll send X amount of support. It's going to cost X amount per day, and we'll be happy to help you. The UN should take a role in this, which we are a part of. I don't think we should be, but we are. But, would we as Americans like other countries coming over here and telling us how we should do stuff? Whenever something's going on here, I don't think the Americans would like that,
Well, I think you may be assuming something there, Charles, because I think the Nigerian president has asked for help. I think they have thrown up their hands and said, these guys are too tough. We don't know how to handle them. The question should be, and you answered at least the first part of that, should we or should we not take this on as a responsibility for the American security forces? Is this something that we should be involved in as a nation? Yes or no, and what are the merits as to why? And some of you had comments on that. David in Ohio has some. Hi, David.
Hi. I think Barack Obama ought to offer some of those SEAL teams or special forces to go in there and help. If the president of Nigeria would like to have their help, I think Barack Obama ought to offer it to them. Because, hey, look, what's more valuable, a whole school full of kids or an oil tanker, And, our SEAL teams, helped out, boarded that oil tanker and took out the terrorists. I think we ought to offer the same excellent troops to Nigeria and go rescue those kids.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, especially if they've asked for help. A limited scoped response, I think, makes a lot of sense, David. And I think our special team surgical forces, I think they could go in and, really just take that organization out very quickly. The danger that you run, and it's a legitimate one, is if something goes wrong and those girls end up getting massacred because the terrorists want to take revenge or they do something else untoward towards them. And this is where I don't ever envy walking in the shoes of any president, whether I've agreed with them or whether I disagree with them. I think that their responsibilities are wholly important, and they have a lot on their plate. And when you're talking about, going into rescue, you're also talking about possible incredible risk if something doesn't work out perfectly. So it's something that he has to measure. It's just interesting how the idea of intervention has become very, I don't know. It's almost like they shrug off whatever is questioned or suggested or asked about more often than, like, we're not going to ever worry about this group being sharks, really leaning forward, hawks rather, leaning forward, going after bad guys. But if we don't go after bad guys on some level around the world, there will be an innumerable number more of bad guys that exist. What you're going to find is bad guys will multiply as soon as they know that you can get away with something because some of these governments don't have really anything to protect their people with. Look for more of this kind of behavior. So is it a direct national threat to us? I don't think you can make that argument. But is it something we can afford to ignore? I don't know. It's a very tough call. We've got some other things I want to discuss. Stay with us. It's AFA Today on AFR Talk.